Welcome, Night Wanderer. You found yourself in the safe embrace of the Resonator, where stories weave a soft blanket for your restless thoughts. I'm Kwame Duchamp, your storyteller for the evening. Now, tonight's tale is a gentle journey, one meant to lull your mind and cradle your heart as you drift towards sleep. Now, let your breathing slow, your body relax, and your imagination take flight. So, let's begin. Tonight's story: The Fisherman and the Sea Fairy. Finn Murphy never quite fit in with the other fishermen in town. While they grumbled about the tides and fought the sea for its bounty, Finn just listened. He'd watch the waves, let the wind whisper through his hair, and somehow he always knew where the fish would be. Now, some called it luck, and others called it nonsense. Finn called it her. The Sea Fairy. You see, she was the reason he never fished too much, and never stayed out too long, and never ignored the ocean's warnings. He didn't know her name, but she had been visiting him for as long as he could remember, remembering just beyond the bow of his boat, whenever the moon was high and the world was quiet. And tonight, as always, she arrived like a ripple in the air, small, golden, and glimmering like a drop of sunlight that had refused to sink with the sunset. "Late again, Murphy?" she teased, perching on the edge of his boat, her tiny wings fluttering like a hummingbird. "You ever try being on time?" Finn smirked, adjusting his fishing net. "You ever try being normal?" She gasped dramatically. "Normal? How dare you? Do I look like the kind of fairy who settles for normal?" "Not even a little," he admitted. She grinned. "That's what I thought." Now, Finn had no idea how old she was, and fairies weren't exactly known for keeping calendars. But she carried the kind of wisdom that only came from watching waves shape the shore for centuries. "So," she said, stretching out like she had all the time in the world, "what's the crisis of the night?" "Oh, no crisis," Finn said, tossing a small fish back into the ocean. "I'm just thinking." "Ooh, that's dangerous." "I'll risk it." The fairy watched him for a moment, her tiny face unreadable. "Oh, you're thinking about leaving again." And Finn tensed up. "That obvious?" She rolled her eyes. "You do this every time the sea changes. You stare at the horizon. You wonder what's beyond it, and then you sit here waiting for the ocean to invite you." She leaned closer, voice playful but sharp. "I hate to break it to you, but Murphy, the sea's not going to send you a formal letter." Finn sighed, dragging a hand through his hair. I just thought by now I'd be somewhere else, doing something else. I always said I wouldn't stay here forever." She tilted her head. "And yet here you are." Finn scowled. "Yeah, thanks for that." And the fairy laughed, twirling in midair. "You know, you landwalkers always act like staying still is a failure. Like, if you don't move, you're stuck." And she waved her tiny little hand towards the waves. "Look, But the tide comes in and out every day, and no one calls it a failure. Finn exhaled slowly. That's different. Is it? She challenged. The tide moves, but it always comes home. The waves travel, but they never abandon the shore. And you, she pointed a tiny finger at his chest, you're so busy looking at the horizon you never look at what's already here. Finn frowned. Staring out at the sea, he had always thought of this town, this life, as temporary, a stop along the way to something bigger. But was that true? Or had he just been telling himself that because he was afraid to admit that maybe, just maybe, this place was enough? The fairy studied him, eyes twinkling like the stars above. You don't have to stay forever, Finn. But you do have to decide if you're running towards something or just running away. Finn let her words sink in. He had spent so much time chasing the idea of somewhere else, never stopping to ask himself why. What if the adventure wasn't across the horizon? What if it was right here? In the life he had built, in the people who knew his name, in the sea that never once turned its back on him. He exhaled. I don't know, he admitted. The fairy smirked. Good. He raised a brow. Good? Yeah. She hovered over the water, and her glow reflecting on the waves. Because the only people who think they have it all figured out are the ones who are about to trip over their own feet. Finn chuckled. Oh, wow. So what do I do? And she shrugged. Live. Fish. Watch the sea. And when you're ready, you'll be really ready to go. You'll know. So Finn nodded slowly. Maybe for the first time in his life he believed that. The fairy tapped his nose with a tiny finger. Oh, and Murphy. Yeah, he said. She grinned. Try being on time next time. And with that, she vanished, leaving behind nothing but the soft echo of laughter and the endless steady rhythm of the waves. Finn leaned back against the side of his boat, staring up at the sky. For once, he did not feel like he was waiting. For once, he felt exactly where he was meant to be. The end. Thank you so much, Night Wanderers. It's such a joy to be in your care tonight. Hopefully at this point in time, you are resting, getting that energy recharge that you so deserve. I have been your host and narrator, Kwame Duchamp. As always, your next day, please have a wonderful day on purpose. Bye for now.